All right, Mike, the draft is done. Zach has been working on this. He hasn't slept in 11 days, I think, 11 days.
I was young and skinny and spry at the beginning of mock draft season. I haven't slept in weeks.
He's been working on it, and he's been working on it tirelessly. And let's go ahead and put it up. We're going to show you the entire draft. There's going to be some things that probably you want us to comment on right away. We'll get to everybody. But this is your 2026 Cleveland Browns draft class if Zach is right. And by the way, if you get that right, I think that would be 10 times more difficult than getting a perfect bracket in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
It would be impossible. Usually everybody's mock draft is completely torn up by pick 7 because you don't know what's going to happen in the previous picks. But anyhow, let's talk about, and let's go round by round, and let's talk about the first round. Some names that have been well talked about. I don't think either of those guys would be huge shocks, but tell me why you went the way you did.
Yeah, so I think Proctor would be a surprise, maybe not a shock. He's a left tackle. He's a tremendously powerful and elite athlete. He's played anywhere from 350 to 370 pounds. He's going to need to stay on the downside. But I think he's young, he's smart, he's athletic, and if he doesn't work at left tackle, he can move inside and play another position. I just think Andrew Berry's group has valued traits. I think this is a rare athlete. And so I mock him at 6. Now, do I think they might trade down? Sure. Am I hedging my bets a little bit short? Long story short, you start making trades in mocks, you turn a complicated project even more complicated.
Yeah.
But I think when you look at where the Browns sit with their most immediate needs and the history of how Andrew Berry's group has projected these picks, I think you look to Monroe Freeling and I think you look to Caden Proctor. And to me, I think Caden Proctor is the better player. So I felt a level of confidence that this guy's going to be a Cleveland Brown on Thursday night.
It's almost like you know something. He has a wry smile on his face.
Gee, it's hard to make you quiet, but you just got quiet.
No, look, it's easy for me. Listen, as shout out, they say we don't never look at the chat. Shout out to Coco Rex. He just said, remember when G. Bush said, Carson Schlesinger, who is that guy? And you are correct, my good sir.
You did?
Yeah, I said that, and I was like, I don't know who he was. And
that's okay, no one did.
And by the third game, I said, listen, no, it was actually the third practice. We went to practice. I said, man, this dude with long blonde hair.
We were whispering Clay Matthews.
I'm like, this dude is out here. Who is this guy? So, listen, drafts, we didn't know. Shout out to Andrew Berry for getting that right. Now, here's the thing about Caden Proctor. When you talk about his physicals, I mean, he's the most physical and imposing tackle in the draft. And
he looks cartoonish big.
And by the way, he's some of the same things that you said about DeJuan Jones, you say to him, but at a higher level, which is kind of difficult to even think about. So they do like young players. They do like the young profile. And I've already said, look, you got Warhop, who's one of the best offensive line coaches in the game. What they're going to do is they're going to take somebody, all these guys, when you look at Noah, you look at Proctor, you look at all of these dudes, Miller, they all have something that you would say, I'm a little apprehensive about this, right? For him, it's whether or not he's going to be in shape, whether or not he's going to be able to continue to get better. Does he have the footwork? Does he have the ability to play left tackle, or is he more of a guard or interior lineman? But when you look at it, all of them have something that you can say is wrong a little bit, and it's up to them to decide which one it's going to be. There's going to be a good tackle in this draft. The problem is, do you know which one to get, and which one are you going to develop?
Which one would you take?
I would listen. Actually, this is kind of crazy. Shout out to Ken Carmen. I would probably end up taking a receiver early, but if I took a receiver early, Fano is not going to be there. The kid Miller from Clemson, to me,
Strongsville High School.
Yeah. I like
Ties.
him. He plays on the right hand side. I don't know if he can play left, Zach. But I do think that he's played a lot of football, and I do think that you could put him in relatively quickly and play. But for me, if you were going to take a guy in the top 6 or top 10 that's a tackle, my only thing is you better be right. If it's Proctor, be right.
Can't miss.
If they do get it right, though, he has the upside to be one of the best tackles. I mean,
plug and forget for 10
monster.
years.
He's a monster at the point of attack.
I'm worried about the footwork. I'm worried about the conditioning. I think 350 is fine, 370 is not.
Yeah, we learned that the hard way.
The way I would approach this if I'm Cleveland, and I never try to jump into their minds because you can't, but to me, I had the offensive line as a bigger area of need at the end of the season than wide receiver. Because I do still think there are some young guys on that wide receiving core that might develop. But I really think the way Andrew Berry sort of addressed that weakness in the offseason, I feel like now it's the glaring weakness is wide receiver, and I don't even really think it's close anymore.
Yeah. So you both say that, and I don't necessarily disagree.
But you're zigging because you think the Browns...
There are two reasons why I pretty confidently chose offensive line over wide receiver.
Yeah.
One, they did address offensive line, but 2 of the 3 guys they brought in externally are 30 years old.
No, that's true.
And they consciously...
They're not long-term fixes.
But they added 1 wide receiver, Tylan Wallace, who's been a backup in Baltimore
Yep.
for 5 years. I think this is a continuation of the addressing of the offensive line.
Okay.
And secondly, there are such different types of wide receiver in this draft and on this team.
I know.
We can roll our eyes at it, and we will. This team is still committed to Jerry Jeudy. This team still has to hope that Cedric Tillman in a different offense in the final year of his contract can give them something. So I think when you go to the next pick and look at Concepcion, this is a guy that you get the ball in his hands. He might never be that true number 1 receiver, and he's certainly never going to be a 60 snaps a game outside wide receiver. But this is the guy you throw quick ones to. This is the guy you line up in the slot. This is the guy you get the ball on jet sweeps. And as you go forward and add more to your offense, he's going to have a role because he's your design touch guy. So he's not the true slot like Mekhi Lemon. He's not the true outside like Carnell Tate.
Right.
He's his unique player that's going to translate as this offense continues to evolve. The whole theme of this mock is looking forward. Further development, finding guys to one fit down the road, but now just adding talent to this team. So that's why I went with Proctor and Concepcion, because I think they're both high upside guys who are going to help you right away, but eventually have a chance to grow into bigger roles.
We're going to talk about Jordan Tyson later in the hour. He had a great workout by all accounts at Arizona State on Friday, I believe. I saw that Prime just tweeted at the top at 10 o'clock, this guy's different. Something along those terms. That makes it interesting. When you're starting, when the guy who's probably penciled in as at least the leader at this point as your quarterback has a father who's the best cover corner ever to play, and he's Deion Sanders, and he tweets at 10:02 on Monday of draft week, this guy's different. Those are some of the things that I think the teams that steered away from Shedeur, they wanted to avoid that kind of stuff. And I don't know if the Browns, I'm sure the Browns will see that tweet. I have no idea if it will be discussed or impact I would think that it wouldn't impact where they're going. But now we're talking about it.
Yeah. Well, he's done it before. Deion's done that before.
Yes, he has.
I guess it helps him out. He's
not shy.
They smoke screening right now. Hey, if there's a lot of people who love Jordan Tyson and think the Browns are not going to take him, hey, you want to trade? I don't even look too far into it. Now I will say this: with Jordan Tyson, I seen Tyvis sent me something, and I seen him moving around. I mean, he's the best receiver in the class. Athletically,
he's a big dude.
Yeah,
he can move, he can jump, he's twitchy. The problem is durability, man. The durability stuff really, really scares me. But it's funny. People thought I would be mad if they went to the and turned in Casey Concepcion. I looked at him, and the thing about him is he can help you in special teams. He's a guy that can.
And we could use the help there.
He's He's going to return punts for you. He's going to be a gadget guy. And I like what you did with Ted Hurst is you came back, and if you can't find one guy with all the skill sets, I think they will try to accumulate skill sets later on in the draft.
They're 2 very different players.
Very different players.
Operation Stockpile.
So we can't spend 10 minutes on each round. So, Zach, give us rounds 2 through 4, your day 2 picks real quick. Give the explanation. We'll let these guys react, then we'll do the same for day 3.
Yeah, with Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, the Toledo safety in round 2, I wrote that it's not just whispers that the Browns like him. Everybody knows it. He is kind of that modern age safety. He's skinny. He's young, but he's a playmaker, man, and he found around the ball. And Grant Delpit's only signed for 1 more year, and this is a guy that can play multiple positions and help you right away, whether Grant Delpit comes back or not. That's just an area of the draft where I felt like they addressed their first 2 needs in the first 2 rounds as kind of a bonus pick there. Markel Bell, he's a DeJuan Jones type left tackle from Miami. Only a year and a half of major college football. This guy's bigger than DeJuan Jones. He's a true left tackle. He really stood out in Miami's playoff run, and the week after they lost, he went to the Senior Bowl and competed. He didn't need to. So a lot to like about this kid. Gentle giant, but a giant human being. And then brings us to the fourth round where I went back to receiver. And because I took the slot design touch guy first, I took Ted Hurst, who's a little bit of a project, played in Division II and played at Georgia State. But this is a big outside receiver who would potentially replace and hopefully outperform Cedric Tillman going forward.
Interesting. You went with Drew Aller in round 5. Talk about that. I saw a tweet this morning, I think, about how Nussmeier, the report on Nussmeier is that his season was a wash because they found a cyst on his spine. And that was causing all of the discomfort in his midsection.
He ended up being out with an abdominal
And doctors
injury.
are now saying that is not going to be an issue. Now, suddenly, I think that makes him a little more attractive to me because I'd kind of washed my hands of that thought.
Well, teams had known everything there was to know about Garrett Nussmeier because he was a known commodity.
Yeah.
His dad's a coach in the league.
Sure.
You know, he's not the biggest or the fastest, but there was a lot to like, and he went out as a senior and stunk. Same for Drew Aller. You know, he never performed in the big games, but he really did have 2 good seasons.
He got hurt about halfway through, right?
5-star recruit, Mr. Football here in Ohio, big arm, big kid. Drew Aller's bigger, faster, and stronger than Garrett Nussmeier, and if he's available in the 5th round, he's the kind of guy you take a shot on. I've been covering the Browns for a long time. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks trot out there that instantly got no chance. Maybe it's only 2%, but this guy has got a chance.
I do think that they'll take a development of quarterback somewhere. And I do like the pick, the Riley Nowakowski pick. I like that, man. He pencils in. I don't believe that they have a fullback yet.
They don't.
And I think when you watch the Baltimore Ravens and the way they go about it, I liked him a lot when he was at Indiana. He can catch the football. They run a lot of the, you know what I'm saying, he can get out on a perimeter. He's physical. And he always seems to be open. Like, you know, RPO stuff, he's always there. I like him a lot.
Absolute unsung hero of national championship team. Played tight end, played fullback, played special teams. 0-star recruit who ended up, you know, kind of personifying their whole deal.
And really I think the Browns like the idea of that sort of Swiss Army knife, like tight end,
they need it.
Fullback hybrid that they can use in different spots.
Looking for guys to do the dirty work to keep Harold Fannin clean for when you need them.
That's exactly right.
That's what they need to do.
And then, okay, so I'm fascinated by your last pick. Did you throw a dart at a dartboard?
Yeah, he's an early entry, super athletic linebacker who's been on NFL radars. He did not have a good year for whatever reason. He entered the draft anyway at 20 years old, and all the abilities there, all SEC level ability. The Browns in every draft of Andrew Berry have drafted productive guys from the SEC. And so maybe he came out a year early, so maybe you get the discount there.
It's funny, too, that Andrew Berry does seem to draft these guys. Like, I remember when Anthony Schwartz was drafted, we all took the cheese. This dude's fast. He's going to take the top end off the defense.
Olympic speed.
But I do think that Andrew Berry always looks for that guy that, you know, is dripping with talent, but there's this. And maybe he's the guy. Maybe he's the guy that...
2 drafts ago, they took the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, Nathaniel Watson.
Yeah.
Last year, they took the SEC's leading rusher, Dylan Sampson.
They do love the SEC.
Yeah,
and they should.
Yeah,
should.
Pretty good.
Play good football over there. Really good football over there.
Gee, so what do you think overall of Zach's final mock draft? No trades included, which had to be mentioned. There's no trades allowed. If this is what Andrew Berry ended up with on Saturday when the draft concludes, would you be A, thrilled, B, happy, C, or D?
Here's the thing. Listen, I'd be happy with it. The only thing I say is the only prerequisite for me not to be happy is if you don't get starters. I think if you look at those, if Caden Proctor is a starter on the left side and Concepcion can help you and at least be your second or third receiver right now and help you on special teams, great. They went and got Bell, another. I like the Emmanuel McNeil-Warren pick. He's rated a top 30 player, like on a lot of people's boards. Shout out to Toledo. And then look, if you want, I like Nowakowski a lot. When you have these type of drafts, if you got 2 first-round picks, my prerequisite is you better come away with starters.
2 starters.
And right here, if you look at it, I think you not only upgrade at safety, you get another starter at receiver, you get a left tackle, and you got another guy with Markel Bell who you can a body that's solid. They can move around and move in different other positions. So right there, you got 3 starters.
I'd be thrilled with this class, but here's my question for you. My fear is I think a lot of these guys, particularly second round down, are going to be gone before those Browns picks come up.
Sure.
So that would be my fear. I think the Toledo kid, a lot of teams like him a lot.
Yeah.
If he's there and the Browns get him, if he's there, I think the Browns do get him.
Yeah.
Well, because I think they'd take him if he was still there. I just don't think a lot of those guys are going to be there when those picks come up.
This is kind of the complication with where the Browns are. Like, if they take the Toledo kid at 24, then on next Monday we're all going to be saying they really took a safety at 24.
They can't take him at 24.
Or if they get him at 39,
I know what you
trade
mean.
out and then
Right.
take him, then it's like, man, they got this guy. Like, he's
Yeah.
gonna be a
Right.
dude.
It's where you take them,
So
right?
over the course of time, it's about getting those dudes because
Yes,
we don't know. So
it is.
it's gut reaction versus that. I would tell you this: last year the Browns are at 24. Last year the 25th pick got traded for 34 and 99. One of the first picks on Friday and one of the last picks of the third round.
Yeah.
So there's precedent. I think picks 24 through 29 have been traded 11 times over the last 3 drafts. So it doesn't have to be up top. Like there's movement, and those are the kind of, I'm mocking based on the kind of fits that I think Barry's past and what the Browns need now.
Yeah. I would love that draft. I would. They're all named players. They all fill needs for the Browns, and if they walk away with that as their draft class, I'm hiring you as the general manager.
That's a different discussion.